Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Boyan and His Body.
I wanted to say Bible Illustrated and His Body.
Whatever, I'm the buddy.
Yeah, you're that, you know that band, The Wham?
Yeah.
You're that other guy. There was this great cartoon that I really liked, God, Devil and Bob, about this typical American slob who suddenly starts seeing God and the devil. And at one point, devil gets all depressed for this reason or another, and he says, I feel like that other guy from the Wham. And one of his demons asks, like, which guy? Precisely.
So anyways, there was this idea that we start every video with a little bit of Q&A.
What?
Yeah, with a little bit of Q&A, because people are asking questions. It's not 100 questions, like some channels get.
Yeah.
But it's 2.
What he's trying essentially is that he will try his hand at responding questions because nobody asks him anything.
No, I'll ask you.
No.
So, Q&A, question number 1. Super easy. What do you think of getting Orthodox tattoos? By the way, the question was asked by, I'm going to read this as GeoCaker. GeoCaker?
Okay. Let's go with that.
So, GeoCaker asks, obviously on the wrong channel, what do you think of getting Orthodox tattoos?
No.
That's all.
It's just kitschy. I don't like it.
Of course. Well, if you're getting a tattoo, you're not getting it because you're super pious. Like you're getting it because you want it to look good, right?
Well, but people also would have a tattoo because they're super pious.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, why? Why isn't tattoo like for showing off? So you want to show off that you're super pious?
Yeah, about that showing off. Yeah.
Oh, I have a cross, but it's hidden.
But you're showing off.
But he gave it to me when they baptized me.
But what if they tattooed you?
Which denomination, if I may say so, tattoos people for Christians?
Well,
does that happen?
Well, imagine. Actually, it does happen in Coptic churches.
Oh, Coptic churches. Coptic churches.
If they were, and they would be out of the desert by now.
Yeah, really. They're half a step from monophysitism.
I think they just lost 20 subscribers. I'm sorry, Alfred.
Yeah, and also to all you 20. That's a lot.
Yeah, we don't have enough subscribers to lose 20 subscribers.
So we're gonna cut this off.
Okay, next question.
Coptic church, yay! Thumbs up. Tattoos.
Yay.
No. Okay. So the other question is, what is the Orthodox position? Again, it's on the wrong channel. What is the Orthodox position on the legalization of marijuana? How can one live holiness when there is an economic interest in marijuana? Asked by Robert Weigsback.
Try not smoking it.
Yeah, really.
Just because it's legal doesn't mean you have to use it. Like abortion.
Lol.
I think we just demonetized our channel before it even got demonetized.
So the thing is, I just want to say, first of all, the church doesn't have to have a position on everything.
But it does.
Well, it doesn't.
I know.
But it really doesn't have to have a position on everything, right? But we, as members of the church, we can talk about anything we want.
Yeah.
So let's talk about marijuana. This was left by someone on our podcast.
Oh yeah.
On the one that we talked about my trip to LA.
I think that's probably one of my favorite podcast names.
Yeah, it is. But there's good ones.
No, there are.
But anyways, there's economic interest in marijuana. Is there a problem for example, for an Orthodox person to grow marijuana?
You're the only person who says marijuana. Everybody calls it pot or weed, like everybody.
But it says that in the question. Me and Mr. Robert Weigsback.
You're probably one of very few people who uses the word Mister.
Okay. We obviously are not that good at Q&A,
But it's fun.
but it's still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then don't smoke pot like it. I mean, I have you tried pot when you were like younger?
No.
I have.
I only tried cigarettes. Cigarette once.
Yeah.
I only did it because a friend of mine was very insistent and obnoxious,
Yeah.
and I did it because I knew I would hate it.
Yeah, I was a smoker for at least like 5, 6, 7 years. I'm not sure.
Shocked gasp.
Yeah, I wasn't even a Christian back then.
It shows. I don't know any Christian who smokes. By the way, when they wanted to canonize Saint Nikolai of Ohrid,
Yeah.
Patriarch Paul said, well, on icons we can put him with a pipe in his hand.
Well, he is a funny guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, smoking sucks, and even smoking pot also sucks. But that's our opinion. That's not
The official opinion. But, you're introducing psychoactive substances into your brain. That is a very...
Also
very...
coffee. Energy drinks.
Okay, I don't drink energy drinks that are not
Don't.
coffee.
The thing is, don't try to rationalize.
Stop playing counterspell to my positions. Okay, now you completely disarm me. Are you saying we shouldn't burn incense in our churches?
Well, I heard that a lot of incense is actually poison.
Well, if you eat it.
No, really. Okay, let's talk about that another time.
Okay.
Because we have obviously much more important of a topic.
Yeah, masturbation.
Vampires.
Okay. I didn't want to talk about what I said either.
Something happened there. It's fine.
Maybe you can make a sound effect over it so people don't notice.
No. It would take too much time in production.
Yeah. So, vampires.
Vampires. We actually, the Good Mythical Mourning show on YouTube?
No.
It's like one of the biggest. Rhett and Link. You heard about them?
No.
He's supposed to be a YouTuber. Anyways, they're big. They won something just now.
I only live for internet historian and no other.
Jenna Marbles.
She's great, but internet historian.
Okay.
In the fast world of YouTube idols, everything's constantly changing.
Anyways, the guys are huge, and they constantly talk about various topics like, can we do this with that, or blah, blah, blah. And they always start their show with, we ask the age-old question. And this really is an age-old question.
Are you just copying their content like...
Yeah, but I'm disclosing the original author, so that's good. Copyright approved.
Okay, I will make a Bible Project video, and I will put a tiny watermark inspired by Bible Project.
Everything's Bible about you.
That or so.
That being said, really, do vampires exist? Are they real? That's the question that we're asking ourselves today.
Yeah.
Why? Why are we asking ourselves this question?
Because I sent you a list of questions I received and you like that one?
Actually, somebody asked the question.
Yeah.
Oh,
even Zach.
Thank you. Who?
Even Zach.
Even Zach. Like
like me.
2 you. Okay. Even Evan.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How is it pronounced?
Evan.
Evan Zach. I'm sorry, Even.
Because when is it even with an I or with an E?
Can you tell me that letter in Serbian, because I have a real problem?
Ivan ili Evan.
Evan.
Okay, it's Evan.
Okay, Evan. If that's your real name.
Because I thought it was like a nickname, like even something.
But notice
like equals something.
When you spell English vowels, they all sound like a different vowel in Serbian.
Yeah,
it's confusing and...
Yeah. You know what, since we're there, I call like a customer service or something, and it's in English. They're like, "Can you spell that for me?" And I'm like, "Okay, MILOS." So yeah.
I was making a video on Orthodox icons, and I was recording it. So we have this position, which is a blessing, and it spells out the name of Jesus Christ in Greek, which is ICISXS. And I was like, ICXC, I think. I have to share an anecdote. In Serbia, for the longest time, we didn't have Starbucks. So I went with...
And now we have one.
We have one.
And it's as expensive as you would expect.
Yeah, economic salvation has finally arrived.
Yes. Thank you, Starbucks.
Thank you, Starbucks.
I never went, by the way.
I went once because it was empty.
Okay.
Anyway, I went with some of my friends to Strasbourg, and we went, of course, to Starbucks. And we were standing in line. I ordered my coffee, and the barista says, name, and they're like, if I say Boyan, he will misspell it, and then who knows how he will read what he misspelled. So I say Max. So I'm waiting, and I'm on my phone, Max, and I jump out. I get the cup. It doesn't say Max.
No?
It says Snacks.
Snacks or snags?
Snacks. I wish I kept that cup.
So somebody wrote snacks.
For Max. And they read it Max.
Okay, let's be realistic. A lot of people in Starbucks, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, anywhere, they're not really native in English.
You mean they're illiterate?
No.
Max. Can you imagine a more universal name?
No, the thing is, I was only 2 times in the United States, and I am...
This was Strasbourg.
Oh yeah, this is Strasbourg. Yeah, right.
They have Max in German, in French, like... What's their excuse? Unless they were...
Yeah, how did I get that you were in the States?
Strasbourg, USA.
Yeah. Obviously, there's Belgrade in the United States.
There are 4 Belgrades in the United States.
That's ridiculous.
I think like 3 of them are like ghost towns, but...
Yeah, but that's ridiculous. But anyways, sorry. But the thing is, I was what I wanted to say actually, I was a bit surprised as to how people suck at speaking English in the United States.
It's surprising to me with my impeccable English talking skills.
Yes, of course. Well, shall we continue? Okay, I tried.
That's cringy.
It is.
Okay.
But I just had.
It's a good accent. No, you did a good accent. I mean, the joke was cringy.
Yeah, the joke was. But anyways, vampires.
Yeah.
Are you a vampire?
Well, you can see me on the camera, so clearly not.
Okay, but that's just one of them. That's just one of them.
And it's a wrong one.
So how do we can talk about how to spot a vampire and how to know that somebody's a vampire. Like for example, in his case, I guess he does live a lot during the night.
Yes, I do. In a typical Serbian myth, I don't think that sunlight is particularly dangerous to vampires. They're just active during night.
Oh yeah, first of all, the Serbian version is completely different from what the movies have taught us.
Classical Hollywood version. Let's call a typical vampire classic Hollywood vampire.
Yeah, but also vampire. Actually, the word vampir is actually a Serbian word. One of the few absolutely 100% Serbian words that went into other dictionaries.
I think it is possibly even the only one that's universally used.
Yeah, might even be the only one.
I mean, there are very similar words with other Balkans people, but it went through Serbian, it went to other areas.
Yeah, so we actually need to regard this question from 2 different aspects. One is from the, that classy vampire Hollywood production.
Blah.
Yeah, well, but also, the one who seduces women.
Yeah.
And in general, he is beautiful, has a lot of charisma. Aristocratic, exactly. Mm-hmm. As opposed to a Serbian version of a vampire, which is like... it's a bit different.
Yeah, like a Serbian hillbilly, and now you're undead.
Yeah.
They suck.
Serbian hillbilly would be more than enough.
Yeah.
But plus undead, people would the vampires. You can scare people with both versions.
Yeah.
But our version is much more scarier.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's as looking at a vampire, the Serbian version would be very repulsive.
Yeah.
As opposed to looking at a Hollywood version of a vampire, like classy aristocrat.
Like they have hypnotic eyes, they're beautiful, regal.
Your British accent.
No. That Transylvanian accent that I totally don't have.
Well, it depends.
Blah.
It depends. That one is from Heroes of Might and Magic.
It's the best sound effect ever.
It is.
Yeah. Serbian vampires are bloated and hairy.
Yeah. And I don't think they're influenced by sunlight.
No, they're just active during night. That's it.
Yeah, so this perspective about vampires has actually changed since the early days of, the first renditions of the life of Count Dracula, whatever.
Even slightly before, there was this short novel, I think it's called just Vampire, where this
could be
a noble girl adopts another noble girl sort of as a playmate, and it turns out that she's a vampire. Maybe it was called Carmilla, I'm not even sure.
Something to research on that.
In Serbian myth, in general Balkan myths, you don't have royal vampires.
And everything's super scary.
Everything's super scary.
Have you played Werewolf or Vampire the Masquerade or whatever the name is, role-playing games?
I was supposed to, but nothing came out of it.
Yeah, I played Vampire.
It's cool. It's a very well-defined system.
I haven't seen it for 15, 20 years.
Okay, it's still they're still developing
15, 16 years.
They're still developing it.
Yeah, I haven't actually played Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that for a lot of time.
Yeah, we can play it in program.
In program?
Yeah.
Guys, want to play D&D?
Oh, I can't on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, the horror of the game, arranging everything with the players.
Well, hold on. First of all, we're trying to answer the questions.
Yeah.
Do vampires real?
Do vampires even real?
Do vampire even real?
Yeah.
Yes, very good, yes. So vampire
unreal
are actually real. But they are, but not in the sense that you would think.
What a twist.
Number one, there's people who consider themselves vampires. They even suck on each other's blood.
Okay, but you have, for every fringe internet ideology, movement, trend, there will always be a sucker who will adopt such a view, way of life, and so on. So
special hello to all the furries out there. Furies.
Furies. Yeah.
I like that one better. You're going to say furies, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Funny.
I mean, it's so funny.
But yeah, so number one, people actually consider themselves vampires. Obviously, it's crazy, but they like it. I think there might be goth people that just went too far. I don't know.
Well, I would consider it. I mean, I had a friend in my elementary school. Oh man, large, flowing black gowns, wearing this dark jewelry, skulls, pentagrams.
You remember MySpace?
I actually didn't.
Yeah. Okay. So at some point we all had MySpace. It was actually high school, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was high school, and I remember a girl adding me on MySpace.
What did Tom say?
Sorry. Well, we'll talk about Tom another time. So this girl adds me, whatever. It was like a list of contacts or a list of friends. I don't remember anymore. But you actually.
I think it's context. I don't think it's
Yes,
just friends.
but you know, if somebody adds you and you accept, they would be featured in that level thing. And so this girl adds me up, and on the picture, on the profile picture, she's like dark hair, a bright red lipstick,
And white.
you know, decent, cute, and all that. And I'm like, sure, you're a high school kid. Accept. And immediately I go into her photos.
Oh, the satanic imagery.
Dude, it was like on a cemetery. She was
God.
she was licking
The tombstone.
the tombstones. And like I have never even imagined that somebody could have that many photos of just licking tombstones.
If you kiss her, you would taste the tombstone.
Like now that when you talk about vampires, she's like a perfect candidate. It's like a perfect candidate.
By the way, vampires lick their graves. What do they do if the tombstone has a cross on it?
Well, first of all, two myths there. One, that they live in graves. They actually sleep in coffins.
And where are these coffins?
I don't know, where does the leech keep his phylactery?
But that's different.
Somewhere hidden, somewhere safe, right? Doesn't have to be a grave. Well, it could be. It's safe in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but okay. A vampire is in a coffin, and coffin is underground. In a grave.
Doesn't have to be in a grave.
Okay, fine.
Unless you decide to call everything that has a coffin a grave. Right?
Coffins are generally buried. Like, all the time.
Sure, I'll give you that.
Okay. So, when a vampire leaves... Okay, doesn't matter. It can be a mausoleum, doesn't matter. Like, crosses galore.
In a castle? In a castle's basement?
Okay.
In a castle, hidden passage, hidden room?
Okay, but, you know, you would sort of have to plan your vampirism.
Which, well, in a lot of renditions of vampire whatever, you would have rich people working with vampires because they would promise them eternal life, which is obviously not the eternal life, and it sucks because it changes you, right?
That sucked.
So they would plan it out. Unless the vampire double crosses them, which is also...
Oh, double crosses them.
Nice attempt at a pun.
Oh, I remember this old joke, like, what does Count Dracula do when he's bored?
Oh, God.
It's good.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
So I was trying to explain personally why vampires do exist. And the first argument was that there's people who identify themselves as vampires. You can identify as anything you want these days, right?
Yeah.
And you can't assume that I'm not a vampire, for example.
Wait, does this make vampires a legal category now?
Well, I don't even know what's legal anymore. Like, I really don't.
Okay.
Like in Serbia, for example, you have to be either male or female. I'm pretty sure that's not the case in the United States. You can be something else.
Yeah.
Maybe even undecided or something. I'm big. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I prefer not to tell.
Yeah, prefer not to tell in a passport. Prefers not to tell.
Okay.
Uppercase letters. But the second argument that I wanted to make is, like, the definition of a vampire, one of them is that they suck on other people's, they feed on other people's life energy, which is blood.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Well, in Serbian myth, vampires can and do drain blood, but they tend to be more of a malevolent poltergeist, you know, that torments former family, friends, cattle. Where a vampire is active, people start dying of different diseases, so it's not necessarily blood drain. They simply wreak havoc on local communities wherever they appear.
Yeah, in Serbia.
Yeah, of course.
Which is not really that popular.
Which is a pity because it is very dark. Actually, there is this great Croatian animation of a some medieval case when they dug up a vampire. It's really good. We'll put it in the reference.
Nice.
It's very good. It's like stop motion and very stylish.
Is it Sava Savanovic?
No. It's one of their vampires.
Okay, so Sava Savanovic is like the Serbian vampire.
Yeah.
Like there's movies. I think the movie about him is called Tirica. I'm not sure how to translate that. Like a night fly.
Or maybe just moth.
Moth.
Yeah.
Yeah, moth. Why not? Moth.
I haven't seen it.
But a female moth.
Yeah.
Like we say that with the can you say that out loud? We get demonetized.
That should be assailed.
Yeah, the moth that prefers not to tell. But anyways, what I wanted to say is that there are people who do feed on your life energy.
Oh, they do.
Might not be blood.
But your good vibes, your good cheer. You know those people like...
your knowledge.
Your knowledge, your repute, your... Who knows what else.
Your hard work.
Oh, yeah. And, but especially those people like, you know, you're in a good mood, everything, and you meet those people, and after a couple of minutes, you're like drained. Like, you don't want to go outside, everything's dark and gloomy and gray. You know those people.
Who are you talking about?
You know, what do they call them? Energy vampires.
Yeah. Well, I prefer the Harry Potter version.
Like Dementors?
Yeah.
They also have vampires in Harry Potter.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah, but yeah, a similar concept.
They have vampires in Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I didn't watch through.
Watch.
Sorry?
You mean read?
No, I didn't read or watch through.
Okay.
I read the first book. That was enough.
Okay. I mean, if you didn't catch on...
I also rode a broomstick.
Shut up.
No, it was with a green screen behind, and they like it was in the Warner Bros. Studios, and they would like tape you and all that. You know, the guy would tell you, you know, now lean left, lean right, and then you look at the video and you're like flying in a city or something. But then they were like $100 to get the 3-minute video. I was like, thank you, sir.
Can we see it?
Sorry?
Can we see it?
No, I didn't pay for it.
Ah, okay.
I wouldn't do it. $100? Might even be more.
If you want to see M riding a broom, pledge today.
No, I could have ridden the Batmobile, but I was never a Batman fan. Never.
I mean, I'm fine with Batman. Not a huge fan.
I'm fine with it, but I like Batman. And I'm also not the biggest fan of Harry Potter, but you know.
I was, but now I don't even.
I like the clothes.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I have seen any movies past the 5th. Like, I haven't seen the last 3 movies.
I don't really know how much of them I saw.
There's like...
That's probably why I don't know they have vampires.
Yeah.
I thought they only had like the energy vampires. The mentors.
Yeah, they're cool.
But I use it on a regular basis. Like as an expression. As a character, you know, somebody's, you know, to describe somebody.
Like you.
No.
Okay. Chocolate for everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway.
You're such a good buddy.
So how does one become a vampire in a Serbian myth?
In a Serbian myth, I don't think there's biting. I think you actually. No,
people can become vampires if they're killed by a vampire. But most often people in Serbian mythology become vampires because their
vampire rapes their mother.
That's too. There are a ton of totally irrational reasons why one becomes a vampire. The favorite of which is if a cat jumps over your coffin.
Is it a black cat though? Might be a black cat.
Maybe in some variants, but in general, you don't want a cat jumping over your grave because reasons.
Yeah, I love Serbian superstition.
And I even heard that in certain villages in Bosnia, they still have people whose sole purpose is to prevent cats approaching a gravesite.
I absolutely do not believe that to be true.
It is true.
But if it is,
it is.
I wonder what's the minimum wage.
What's the minimum wage?
Well, for these guys, like that was.
Oh yeah, okay. But this would be cool, like vampirism prevention squad.
Yeah, look, guys. Like the Balkans is a crazy place.
Yeah.
And we actually these still exist. Like there's so many things about death in general that here in the Balkans which are ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with the fact that people would hire women to cry.
I think that's no. Sorry, that one's more universal.
It is?
Yeah, Veilers. I think there was some other term for them.
Well, we call them.
Yeah. Actually, that is how I translate banshee into Serbian.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, but in essence, excluding those completely irrational reasons, there are some that make tad more sense, like practicing sorcery. So it's a punishment for practicing sorcery.
Yeah, like black magic.
Yeah. So it's not like you make yourself vampire through magic, but you're cursed to become a vampire for using magic at all.
Yeah.
Suicides, heretics, blasphemers, people who were excommunicated from the church, unbaptized people. I wonder why they never ask themselves, like, why all the Turks aren't overrun with vampires by now.
But it doesn't work with them.
But why?
I don't know.
I mean, one has to wonder. So yeah, in modern vampire lore, I mean post-classical Dracula, like Blade, like Underworld series, like Vampire the Masquerade and similar role-playing games, you practically never become a vampire through a curse or by your own, as a consequence of your own actions.
Yeah.
You always have to be bitten or sired.
Yeah.
It's a cool expression. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So there is always a question of who was the first vampire, and it's Cain usually.
Yeah. Obviously. I mean, there's multiple variations. Like sometimes they would have to drink you up and leave one drop of blood.
You have to drink vampire's blood. Very popular.
Blah blah blah. So there's variations, but it's you're always made a vampire by your elder.
Yeah.
And that elder obviously has their elder, and there is the ultimate elder, Cain.
If he's alive by now.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, I loved playing a game when I was younger, which is called Soul
Reaver. I was associated. I remembered it when it said Cain.
With Cain. The lore was pretty decent in that game.
I read just a little bit about it. I saw gameplay. My computer wasn't good enough for me to play, but
we kind of hacked that, and somehow we played it.
Wow. Nice.
There was this thing. There was this thing when your graphics card wasn't powerful enough.
Okay.
You were able to like turn on software rendering of graphics.
Okay.
And it would look a tiny bit different.
Okay.
But it would be smooth.
Nice.
And we actually used that up until we raised money in the family to buy a better video card, and then we played it a bit.
Yeah.
It was a bit more decent. It was a great game with great lore.
Yeah.
Which specifically ended up talking about Cain and blah blah blah. Cain banished the soul revolve. Blah 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 blah.
Would you become a vampire, Em?
No.
Me neither.
No, not a single variation. But let's talk about the Hollywood version, which is the cool version of a vampire.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we be so cool? Eternal life, rich, all the ladies, all the blood.
Well,
maybe not all the ladies. It's the 21st century. All the ladies and men.
Yeah.
Vampires be crazy.
when we found out that we are fans of musicals, there's this musical that I like a lot.
The German one.
Yeah, Tanz der Vampire, the dance of the vampires. And there's this great song called Ewigkeit, Eternity. It happens when the two protagonists are watching a graveyard in Vampire's Castle, and all of the vampires arise. And they're singing that song, Eternity, where they are essentially saying that eternity is crap.
Yeah, get us out of here.
Yeah, no, it is a great song. I like this line in English version, which was very poorly received, but that song was actually pretty good. We've got style, we've got class, but we're stuck in morass of eternity. And they're constantly saying everything's the same, it's all going in circles, and our sole pleasure is to strike terror into mortals' hearts.
Yeah.
And that's the sole pleasure you get out of being a vampire. Everything else, and you get completely changed, you're basically not the same person.
Yeah.
You are the same person, but you're totally different.
That's the biggest drawback, I think.
Yeah.
In that version of vampire, because you get the thirst.
Yeah.
You know, the thirst, and you get the unending desire to wreak havoc.
Yeah.
In human settlements.
Yeah.
Right?
And you have to do it, because otherwise it really depends on the medium. What happens if you don't drink blood? Usually it is just this horrible thirst that is inflicting you horrible suffering, but in some versions you descend into this beasthood in a way where you turn into basically an animal that has for its sole goal to drink as much as blood as possible.
Animal with urges.
Yeah. So
well, this was productive. I'm very glad we talked about this.
Yeah.
And I hope that we have answered the question too. Evan?
Yes.
Evan, this was it. Is there anything else you wanted us to discuss?
Hope you liked it, and hope you see our reflections in the video.
Reflections in the video?
Well, because if we're vampires...
but how would they see reflection in the video? Something to discuss.
Well, technically, what they're seeing is our reflection in the camera's lens.
Or they are just looking at us through the camera lens. Because this camera, it's literally called a mirrorless camera.
That is why they can see us.
Yeah, but good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I think at the end of every YouTube video, you're supposed to say share, like, subscribe.
But we are putting that to rest.
Yes, this was the third episode of Boyan and His Buddy. Today we talked about vampires, and I just wanted to say two things before we end this one. One, pray for B, and the second one is
go on, tell them.
No, just pray for him.
No, go on. Tell them.
He did something very bad.
Go on, tell them.
He wasn't a naughty boy or anything, but
Spill the beans.
He did something with. Should I? Can I?
Of course.
Really? No, really.
Yes, of course.
No, I won't. It looks like he doesn't want me to say. So
No, feel free.
No, please.
No, just kidding. Feel free to say. Seriously.
Is this a serious face, guys? Help me.
Actually, once this girl who was approaching communion, where I was serving, basically started laughing before communion because she saw my face holding the communion cloth, and she said, "This was the first time in my life that I saw you death serious." So go on, tell them.
Yeah, so he's buying an apartment!
Yay! Also, I'm alone now. So don't cancel those pledges. My soul is the collateral.
No, really.
I will pay out that loan by guilt tripping my patrons.
Or by becoming a vampire and actually being able to pay it off in 150 years.
Well, actually, when you're a vampire, you're literally living in a box, so it's much more manageable.
Or just sleeping there.
It doesn't matter, I can wander around. It's not like cold is going to hurt me or something.
Don't be a vampire, guys.
Don't take out loans.
And just seriously, like, pray for B. It's a serious step. Like, and I wish you best of luck with that.
Next episode, there's no M, and the whole 2-hour episode is just me begging for money and doing everything for
the first
money.
episode of Boyan without his body.
And with me owing you a lot of money.
No, that's not happening.
And thank God.
Just so we're clear, that's not happening.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.